Hi, and welcome to LinkedIn for Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Julia Zata, a LinkedIn strategist and ghostwriter, and lover of all things practical when it comes to visibility strategies. This podcast is for service-based business owners who want to build their brand on LinkedIn, attract new clients, collaborators, and speaking engagements without overthinking every post or sounding like a corporate robot. And yes, we're going to keep it actionable and fun. Let's dive in. If you feel intimidated by LinkedIn, you're definitely not alone. And it's not just small business owners who are afraid of LinkedIn. Sometimes it's also the bigger players who feel like, whoa, that's a whole different level. I'm in a membership run by an Instagram influencer. And when I told her I helped entrepreneurs with LinkedIn, she was like, oh yeah, I can see why people would be scared of that platform. That's where the grown-ups go out to play. I was surprised to hear somebody who was so comfortable showing up on social media and who gets a lot of flack say that she found LinkedIn intimidating. So maybe you too have been crushing it on Instagram or in your email list, or you're just more familiar with Instagram. It's more fun, it's more relaxed, it feels safer. But you know that your target audience is on LinkedIn and you want to start showing up there, you just don't know how. It feels corporate, intimidating. So that's why today we're going to cover what should you even post on LinkedIn as a business owner. So in case you don't know this about me, I am a social media copywriter and I write for founders, for CEOs, and for entrepreneurs. And I've seen just how showing up consistently with good content helps personal brands stand out, get noticed, and have leads reach out to them. And as long as the copy is good and you have eye-catching images, you don't have to be churning out videos and stories all the time. You can get away with content that's a lot less effortful. So now that we've gone over all of that, what should you actually post as a business owner? I want to break down for you 4 content themes that I use to help my students in my Content Hub membership. So I have a membership for service providers who want content ideas and templates that they can customize and post on their own LinkedIn feed. And so this is a private community. Doors are closed right now. They will open later on in July. But one tool that I've given them that they've found really helpful is the 4 content themes I'm about to share with you. And so having different content themes really helps structure your content so that it's varied. You're offering your audience different angles from which you're talking about yourself as a business person and your offer. And so let's have a look at what those content themes are. Number 1, which is my personal favorite, is what I call peek behind the curtain. This is where you let people take a peek behind the curtain of your business. And the type of content that you want to share in the peek behind the curtain is content that has an emotional trigger that makes people feel like they can connect with you somehow because they feel like they have something in common with you. So if it's because you have a dog in common, if it's that you're drinking coffee and working on your laptop in a cafe, whatever you share has to be relevant to you and to your environment to give people that peek behind the curtain that they love. And so other things that you can share inside this category are your values, your company values, and how those play out in your relationships with your team members or with your clients. And you can also show your values of what you care about outside of work, your whole motivation for working. Is it to spend more time with your family and children? Is it that you can be location independent and travel to Bali and work from there? What is it? Because these are the types of characteristics about you that people really like because it gives your brand color, it gives your brand a personality, and it helps people feel like they know you because you're sharing a more personal aspect of yourself. So the second content theme or content pillar that I teach my Content Hub students is share helpful advice, practical tips, or pro tips. These are the answers to the most frequently asked questions that you get from clients or from leads. It's educational content which really helps your potential clients understand what services you offer, how you deliver them, what your process for delivering them is, so they can understand what it's going to be like working with you before they even reach out. Because we don't really want to book a sales call with anybody unless we know for sure we want to buy with them. We don't want to book a call to inquire, because it's really awkward to get on a call and then to have to tell somebody, I have to think about it, and then maybe they go and pitch harder or whatever. And we've all been there. It's uncomfortable. And so giving your audience pro tips helps them get value because you're sharing something that they can use. But it's especially useful because you're educating them on how to work with you, on what your process is, and you're helping them visualize all the steps that they're gonna take to work with you. So what happens on a discovery call? What happens after the discovery call and the onboarding process? How do you deliver? How do you ask for feedback? How do you know that you've done a good job? What happens if your clients need something redone because they didn't like it? What if they don't turn things in on time? Like, all these aspects of working with clients as a service provider is practical tips, because you don't really want to teach them how to do what you do for them themselves, if that makes sense. You don't want to teach them how to do your job, because your target audience, your clients, don't want to do your job. They want to delegate it, but they want to make sure that they're delegating it to the right person, that they're investing their money and their time and their energy in something that's going to give them the ROI they expect. And they don't want to trial and error working with you, because it costs a lot of money, and it's disappointing when you hire somebody that doesn't deliver the way you thought they were going to, and then you have to stop everything and start over with somebody else, and it really takes the wind out of your sails. And so when you're a service provider, the pro tip aspect of your content pillars is educating your target audience on what it's like to work with you. Okay, so we've covered 2 content themes. I also call them content pillars, content buckets. They go by different names, but basically there are different content categories that help you to build out your content calendar when you're planning your content. Content pillar number 3, or content topic number 3, is personal insights. So this is where you share your opinions. This can be hot takes, like debunking industry myths based on your experience. This helps to differentiate you from everybody else. It helps show what your values are, but more from an industry perspective. Personal insights is a great theme to address objections, because on social media we're talking to people who may not realize that they have a problem that we can help them solve. And so when you start addressing people's most obvious and first objections, this is where the personal insights can come in. They help shift your readers' perspective, their point of view, their beliefs, so they can understand the value of what you offer, or understand the process, or understand your views on how the industry works today. Another thing that you can address are outdated beliefs or outdated trends, things that used to work or that we used to think were a good idea or good practice but don't do anymore. So all these topics fall within the personal insights, and it's a great category to get spicy. And there's so many ways to get spicy too. In the Content Hub recently, I showed examples of spicy content that was actually very soft, which I enjoyed discovering, because you can have a spicy opinion without being aggressive about how you position your view. So something to think about. All right, we're almost done. We've got content pillar or content theme number 4. And this is positioning your offer as a solution. So promotional content or problem solver content. Now, this isn't the same as giving a pro tip, giving advice, or teaching a lesson. Positioning your offer as a solution, it's showing your audience how your offer is the most logical next step for them to take for where they are and where they want to go. So it's really about showing them how you can help them. A really good way to do this is through client testimonials or case studies. So showing how you've helped others who are in your target audience's pain point right now, and how you've helped them transition from the place where they're stuck and unhappy to the place where they're happy, having overcome that obstacle. You have a journey that you take people on, and so when you're working on the content pillar of positioning your offer as a solution, you're trying to show that transformation, and you're trying to make it sound like it's easy, it's a no-brainer, it's the most logical next step to take, and that the cost of staying stuck is going to be way more painful than taking that next step into the solution. So another way to call this type of content is promotional content, but I don't like the word promotional content because in my brain at least I associate it with buy me, choose me, more of like an ask. Whereas positioning your offer as a solution is more about, hey, let me show you how this is going to change your life. Let me show you how this is a no-brainer because where you're at now is not worth staying in for much longer. That kind of thing. So if you think of your offer as a solution to someone's problem, rather than something you have to convince people to buy, you articulate what you do in a totally different way. So having these 4 categories will help you plan your content in advance. So for example, if you're wanting to post once or twice a week, you can choose 2 of these 4 categories and write a post that fits into each one. And then the following week you cycle through and you hit other 2 categories. And what that does is it helps keep your content from being repetitive. It sounds fresh every time. And you position what you do from different angles so people see you through different lenses, which keeps your content interesting to them. I hope you found today's episode helpful and that these 4 content pillars give you a solid place to start with your LinkedIn posts. And if you ever feel stuck, just come back to these themes. And hey, if you want to learn how to take the content you've already created and turn it into LinkedIn posts, I'm teaching exactly that in the June Jumpstart Sessions. It's an online summit that's totally free to join. My session is called Batch and Build, and it'll be available from June 22nd to 25th. I'll walk you through exactly how to repurpose your existing content for LinkedIn so you can show up consistently without spending a ton of time on content creation. You'll find the link to register in the show notes. I hope to see you there. Thanks for tuning in to LinkedIn for Entrepreneurs. If you found this episode helpful, please share it on LinkedIn or on your favorite social media platform. And if you really want to make my day, leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps more business owners find this show. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.